The meaning behind Be Free, a reminder of who we are and how we rise. Purpose, I know who I am. I walk in confidence, strength, and purpose. Healing, I choose to heal, release, and grow from every experience. Resilience, I adapt, I don't quit. I turn challenges into comebacks. Empowered, I am enough, I am capable, I am empowered. Elevated, I uplift myself and others. I create spaces for all of us to rise. Evolution, I choose excellence in everything I do. I don't just exist, I leave an impact. All right. Well, welcome to Be Free with Charissa Marie. And is my video up? Yep, there it is. Okay. Before we get started with anything, let's start off right with a prayer. Let's do that. Heavenly Father, thank you for another opportunity to gather together through Be Free with Charissa Marie. Thank you for every listener who has tuned in today, and thank you for the gift of community and connection. Lord, I thank you especially for my guest, Miss Nisha. Thank you for the gift that you have especially placed on her life. And not only as a stylist, but as an advocate for healthy natural hair, but as for women who faithfully pours into and onto other women and other people in her community with love, wisdom, and compassion. Thank you for the ways you have used her to encourage, teach, and disciple others, including through Master Life. That's very important to me. That's personal. May our conversation today be filled with authenticity, grace, encouragement, and let someone listening be reminded that the gifts you've been given to them are just not for themselves, but for blessing others and to uplift others. So bless every person listening, every home represented, every heart that needs hope today. May this conversation point people back to you and inspire them to walk boldly in their purpose. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
So, welcome to another episode with me. And I am honored to be joined by Miss Nisha. She's a gifted stylist, of natural hair care advocate, and she's a Master Life facilitator. And we'll talk about Master Life later, but that is that's a whole thing, and it is so
Mhm.
empowering, this Master Life. And as a woman, she's a woman who reflects service, encouragement. You can see it you can see it when you meet her. You can see it in how she interacts with you. You can see it in how she interacts with others. And she just shows up for her community. So grab your favorite drink. Mine's is water. Today it's tea. And join us for what we know this is going to be a powerful conversation. So, Miss Nisha, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and when you realized what your calling was, what it was about, whether it has to do with hair or whatever it was. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first, thank you, Carissa, for having me on.
Mhm.
Um, I want to thank God for allowing us to be able to connect so that we can be here. Um, I am a mother of two amazing daughters. I have been in the beauty industry for the past 22 years. Um, what else? This it's just been my passion. Like I love pouring into women. I love seeing the transformation of women as I am doing their hair. You get a lot of women that come in, they're kind of feeling bad about themselves. Not
Mhm.
all, but you get some. And
Mhm.
so just to be able to, be that light and pour into them and help them and just to be able to see themselves in another light.
Mm. So, what question for you? Was there a defining moment that made you realize that God had a bigger purpose for your life, whether it had to do with hair? Because beauty in women, it's a sensitive subject.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when you have women come in, like you mentioned, sometimes they don't feel at their best.
we all have these moments. Like, when
Mhm.
did you realize that that was something you needed to do?
So when I was as a young kid, I have an aunt who is a hairstylist, and I would sit in the shop with her. And when I would go visit for the summer, I would sit in the shop with her, and I would just see, these women coming in, and they would be so excited when they were finished with their getting their hair done. And so I'm just like, oh, I like that. Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just, a thing for me. And then just growing up, it was a natural talent that I had. So I would do people in the family, I would do my hair. My stepmom, she'll tell you, she's like, I was letting you relax my hair at like 13, 14.
What? Well, that's some
She
trust.
said, right?
That's some trust.
She said people would be like, you're letting this teenager relax your hair. And she's like, I mean, well, I can't see what I'm doing. And, she kind of knows what she's doing. So why not?
Right. I mean, and you need to think about it. I mean, there were directions on the box. Worst case
Mhm.
scenario, follow
Absolutely.
the
Right, right,
directions, right?
right.
But that's some big trust. That's a big
Hmm.
trust. Yeah. Oh, well, so I have some positive memories of going to beauty salons, but I also have some scary memories of beauty salons
Hmm.
too that have made me, I am traumatized, and
Oh
so
no.
yeah, I am to this day. Like, I mean, I will go, but I can't tell you the last time. It's been a number of years.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, I'll go for special occasions, maybe, but maybe not even that. And for me, it's because not every stylist or hair beautician nowadays slows down enough to really get an idea of what the client's hair does and doesn't do. Because
Right.
everybody's trying to just be styles, you know what I mean? So I remember I had, it was lengthy hair, but it was fine hair, and it was prom, and the lady, if she was young, she was older than 13, but she was young, but in hindsight, but she had
Maybe
crimped my,
17.
maybe. She was maybe old enough to work in a shop, but when you're getting ready for prom at that age, I don't think I was
Hmm.
interviewing
Hmm.
anyone. Well, where did you get your credentials? And how long? I don't think I did that. You know what I mean? But it was a shop. But she crimped my hair because back then that was the thing. It was 1990, girl, and the
Hmm.
crimp was the
Hmm.
thing. And it was so pretty. I went to prom and I was like, feeling myself. But the next morning when I woke up, I was sleeping on one side. My hair was on my pillow, and she had the heat
Oh no.
too hot.
Oh
And
no.
yes, and so that's what started my trauma with beauty salons. And I had to get my hair cut and I hated fads. Even back then, I am
Hmm.
not a fad kind of girl. I am a march to your own drummer kind of girl.
Absolutely, you are.
I still
Uh-huh.
am,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
And so I was forced to, I love salt and pepper, but I'm saying, the little high-low that was going on
Hmm.
back then, I was forced to do that because my
Oh.
hair had broken off that much on that side. I was
Oh
like,
no. Oh
this song.
no.
Yes. And so it's so good to hear, to have to be a beautician who slows down enough. You think you need to do your research. I mean, I think you really need to like be asking questions. You need to be feeling their
Absolutely.
hair.
Hmm.
And not everybody nowadays, Nisha, do you know, like, let's say I wanted to get a weave. If I go in the shop, they don't even wash your hair and stuff anymore.
Someone asked me that the other day. They asked if the services I provided came with a shampoo, and I'm like, well, yeah, all of my like, I want to shampoo your hair. I don't want you to shampoo your hair and then come in. I need to know that it's clean to my standards, not just for me, but state board regulations. Like that is a requirement that your hair is clean, that you are performing services on clean hair. And not to say that you can't clean your hair, but I don't necessarily know that it's to my standard. So that
And
when I
you're the
style it, like,
professional.
right, like what if it comes out messed up? And I don't know if it's because the hair wasn't clean thoroughly or if it was because of something that I did. So, I just like to do the entire process myself.
I mean, that's crazy to me how that is so it's different now. It used to be
Mhm.
not a thing. You would, of course, you go in and they're gonna wash your hair, but
Right. But a lot of times now, as stylists, not all of them are licensed.
Mm,
So people that are doing weaves or like where they're only doing weaves or only doing braids, they're not licensed by a state board. So
mm,
technically they're not allowed to shampoo your hair.
mm. Oh,
So
see, that's
it's
something to keep
the
in mind
yeah.
as
Yeah.
a
So
consumer.
asking for credentials is important.
Yes.
Asking for credentials is important. And a lot of people think that as hairstylists, oh, they're just doing hair. No, there's a lot that goes into the background of that. You have the health of your hair, you
Mhm.
have safety and sanitation. You can be passing along, you know, psoriasis of the scalp to another person just because you didn't know.
Yeah, that was eye-opening. And also I got to see a visual picture in my head.
Mm-hmm.
People need to think about the thing. And
Mm-hmm.
only not only that, like, and I'll admit, because I am not a cosmetologist. I don't have the knowledge that a cosmetologist would have as to what I'm really supposed to do. Like I have mama and them knowledge, which is pretty good knowledge, you know what I'm saying? But you know, but seriously, like there's already gonna be wear and tear in your hair, for instance, if you're going to get a weave. So you
Right.
can't just wash your hair and condition it because some people it's still dry after they do that because there's something they've missed or they don't know what they're doing. And so you go and you got dry hair that does not hydrate it very good. And then you're gonna braid it up, adding more wear. You know, I think about these things because I like the health part of it first. But
Right.
now everything is quick, fast, let's get it done.
Quick,
But
fast, get it done. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. All right. So I have another question for you.
Okay.
This is about community. So, here's the thing that I've observed. So you have such a heart of to serve community and pouring into people. Why is showing up for others so important to you? And what has that journey taught you?
Whew, that's a deep one.
Hmm.
So, showing up for others for me is important because growing up, like I always want someone to show up for me. So I
Hmm.
try to show up for others in the way that I would want you to show up for me, or to show up for my kids, or to show up for, my loved ones. So I try to be that person. And a lot of times it's overbearing, a lot of times it's a lot, but because I feel like that's who God made me to be, is to serve others. I'm always going to show up for the people.
I love it. Now, how has being that way, how has serving others and showing up like that changed you?
Um, we're going to stick with the positives.
I like that.
It honestly like allows me to just be loving to the people.
Mm.
Everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves kindness. I remember this one time, everyone has their things, right? And so
Hmm.
I was somewhere, and because the person didn't look the way that I expected them to look, initially I had an attitude about, having to have a conversation with them. And then instantly God, corrected me and was like, look, everybody deserves kindness. Everyone deserves love. So you can't just, be that way to them because they're not what you're expecting them to be as a person.
Mm. That's
So
good.
it kind of, it changes your heart a little. And then being in the beauty industry, to connect the two, being in the beauty industry, being able to use my services or use the gifts that God has given me, to pour into others. I've done things like gone to homeless shelters, or battered women and children shelters, and giving away my services for free just because they're going through a tough time. It's like, you want to be there to support and show them that there's still humanity. People are still kind. You don't have to know them in order for people to be nice to you.
Hmm. I think for me, I'm still learning that service to my community can mean different things, like different ways, right? But in general, how it's maybe changed me is I used to think I was compassionate, but I think now I am probably more compassionate, and I slow down in my assumptions too. Like I kind of I slow down, and also it causes me to be able to check myself in a way that
It
maybe I
humbles
didn't.
you.
you
It
know,
humbles you a lot.
it does. Like, it makes me, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Was that that
Right.
that that response did not match
Mm-hmm.
what you just
Mm-hmm.
experienced. You need to check
Yeah.
yourself.
And
So
it's the conviction of who do you think you are?
yeah, absolutely.
You're
Absolutely.
you're not but 2 seconds from being who that person is. So humble yourself
Mm-hmm. Because
and
it
be
can happen. All these things that
kind.
people go through
Mm-hmm.
can happen to any of us at any moment. Girl, I've
Yep.
experienced it almost real recent. I'm just
Yep.
saying. So it's like all these things, and instead of thinking about what that person could have done, meet people kind of where they're at
Mm-hmm.
too. That's been a thing. Like just meet people where they're at. Because I would want someone to do that for me. So, all right. Another question for you. hmm this is about faith.
Okay.
So we all have experiences, or we all have experienced seasons of uncertainty during difficult moments. What has helped you remain grounded in your faith? And what encouragement would you give to someone who's waiting on God?
The first question was what has helped me
What
finish
has
that.
helped you? Well, actually, so because we've all experienced different seasons,
Mm-hmm.
what has helped you during difficult moments? And what has helped you remain grounded in your faith?
What has helped me during difficult moments is um, trying to remember to have faith. Remembering that faith is, the evidence of things unseen. And it's like, okay, Lord, I know that you said that you were going to do this thing. So I try to, it's not easy. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
say that. It is not easy, but remaining, true to yourself and staying in my word, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, listen, it's a whole thing. So in the season that I was in where things were a bit shaky for me, I had to memorize a verse and it spoke to my life entirely. And so that verse was Romans 12 and 2, which is do not conform to the way of the world,
Mm-hmm.
but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then you will know God's perfect and pleasing will for your life. That end was kind of paraphrased.
Mm-hmm.
So basically saying, don't allow yourself to be conformed to what the world wants you to do, but to change your mindset so that it's transformed so that you'll know God's will for your life. So, um, having to realize that I can't listen to a lot of the things that I used to listen to. I
Mm-hmm.
can't watch a lot of the things that I used to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I'm reading my Bible 24/7. I'm not, but when I get in my spirit that I'm feeling down or that I feel like I need that extra boost,
Mm-hmm.
um, knowing where my source is, knowing that I can go back to the word and say, okay, God, you said this in your word. And so I am holding on to the faith that that's what you're going to do.
I can attest to that. I mean, absolutely. And it's like, uh, hmm, it's one of those motors you have to keep oil in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't just
Mm-hmm.
do it one time and think you got
Right.
it.
Right.
You have to oil that machine, and that's for me. Like every day I do self talks. Literally, I'm a talker of myself anyway. out loud around my house. And but that is me. Like in the middle of the night when I feel the stress overwhelm me and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like okay, I'll break out into anxiety. I'm sweating. I don't know what to do. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many things I'm thinking of that I need corrected in my life that I've
Right.
already given to God. So why am I in this heat sweat that's not a hot flash? You know what I'm saying? Why am I having this moment? You know what I mean? And so the oil for me, like you said, is the word. And so for me, when that happens to me, I'm becoming more obedient. Like, okay,
Right.
this sounds like Charissa, you need a reminder. You
Mm-hmm.
need a reminder right now. So you're gonna get up. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and
Yep.
you're gonna need to read your Bible, and you need to communicate with God like right now, because later you're being disobedient because you're just sitting
Mm-hmm.
in the worry.
Mm-hmm.
So I can relate to that. It's that faith, like right now, there's some things we all going through things, and I'm going through something right now where in my regular flesh eyes I'm like, well, how we gonna do this? Because I mean, I don't see how this gonna happen. But I
Yep.
have to remind myself that God is bigger and better and stronger and smarter and all the things better than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if I've turned it over, then I'm gonna have to be cool with that. I'm gonna have to like
Right.
just be
Right.
okay with that, you know.
Yep. I
So,
had a situation where God was telling me one thing, myself was telling me another thing, my friends were telling me another thing.
mm,
And so in my mind, I'm like, I'm hearing all these voices and all of these things and all this noise is going on. And so I ended up I was visiting another church.
mm-hmm,
And as I'm visiting the church, the pastor, he starts talking and he says, well, the sermon that I had prepared for today, I'm not going to do that because in my spirit, God is telling me to do this, right? So then he goes on to speak about how we're listening to all these different voices and we're wondering why we can't hear God. And he's like, it's because you have all this noise. So he did like this exercise where he had like the left side of the church, everybody just started clapping. And then he had the other side of the church. He's like, everybody start yelling. And so he's talking over the mic, but he's not really talking, but he's mouthing words. And he's like, I'm God, and you can't hear me over all this noise. I
mm.
was like, okay,
That was
quiet the noise.
powerful.
That was powerful for me. Quiet the noise. And he's like, just stop listening to all the other things because everyone has their opinion. But if that's not what God told you to do, look, including myself, I have my own opinion. But if
Mm-hmm.
that's not what God is telling you to do, then that's not, you're doing what God is telling you to do. And then you have to be obedient to that. It's a struggle. Listen,
But
audience, I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's
it's
not
not.
easy to not listen to yourself when that's something that you've been doing your entire life.
Even you telling me this right now, think about the fact that you were visiting that church. That was already preordained, right? So
Absolutely.
God had that message sitting there waiting for you to get there.
That wasn't even my regular home church. So, absolutely.
That's amazing. And I'm so glad it is. You know, it's just
Hmm.
like as we keep living, it's like if we can just let go long enough, just imagine all the other
Yep.
things. But because
Yep.
we get in our own way, we don't know all the
And
things.
we want to be in control. We
Yeah.
can't, you know,
Mhm. Mhm. So what encouragement would you give to someone who's waiting on God?
who is waiting on God.
Mhm.
Stay in
Like
your word.
stay in your
Stay in
word.
your word,
Mhm.
pray daily, pray for everything. Um, I now, even our pastor,
Mhm.
maybe about a year ago, he was speaking about, praying about everything, pray without ceasing. And
Mhm.
so now I ask God, even in the mornings, I'm like, Lord, what do you want me to put on today? Like, what am I wearing today? Even if I get to somewhere and I'm driving and I'm like, okay, Lord, knowing that there's multiple directions that you could go to get to the same place. Lord, do I
Mm-hmm.
need to turn right or do I need to turn left? When I make the decision to turn the way I want to turn, there's always something. It's traffic. The
Mm.
road is shut down. So I got to turn around and go back the other way anyway. And so I'm like, okay, well, I didn't ask God in that moment.
Mhm.
So, um, in your time of waiting to hear from God, just be still. Stop trying to move and do things that you think. And a lot of people take the scripture out of context of faith without works is dead. The works is not you actually doing something. The works is you having faith that God is going to work it out the way he said he was, not for you to keep moving.
And
Be
messing it up. That's
still.
good. Somebody need to hear that.
Be still. Yeah, I have this study Bible.
That was
It's,
something really good you just
it's,
said.
listen.
That is really good because that, oh, we all, you know how many people have taken it out of context,
Yes.
including me? Like, because, and
It wasn't just you, it was me too.
but but for real, so many of us,
Hmm.
because I think like some of us are fixers
Right.
right? And so we hear that word, faith without works, like, oh, okay, God wants me to do, well, I need to be doing my part. I need to be doing my part.
Right. Your
But
part is having
our
faith
part
that
is
he's
to
gonna
have
do
faith.
it. Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
That's what our part is. Ooh, that was really good. Mm. All right. I have another question for you.
Okay.
All right. So, let's see. So on this podcast, we talk about living free in purpose, healing, and authenticity.
Hmm.
When you hear the word "be free," um, what what do they mean to you personally? And it doesn't have to mean what I mean, but when you hear just that word, what does that mean to you
Be
personally?
free. When I hear that word,
Mm-hmm.
peace. Peace, 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 peace. I
Mm.
grew up in a very chaotic childhood and just I felt like chaos was the way of life for a long time.
Mm.
And so when I finally was able to experience peace the way that God intended for it to be, it
Mm.
was like, oh wow, this is awesome. Like how when people ask you, hey, how you doing? And so there was always a something, like there was always an answer for that of something chaotic that had been going on. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I got to the point where people would say, well, hey, how are you? Like, how's things been going? And I'm just like, it's good. Like, that felt so abnormal to me that there was
Mm.
nothing going on, that it was just, I mean, it's fine. Like, everything is good. And you can truthfully answer that it's good. Everything is good. That was
Yeah.
so freeing to me that it was like, okay, I no longer have to live in this foolishness.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it's actually peaceful over here.
I love that. Um, we interrupt this program for an important public service announcement. I hope you are enjoying the show. I thank you for being here with me on this journey. Be free, says me, Carissa Marie. Like, subscribe, and share. And for the love of all that is good, hit the notification bell. And you didn't even know we were gone. And that's going to be edited too. It's going to be smooth and seamless. I know how to do that. Okay, so, but Nisha, so I was saying to you last time you and I were together how beautiful your daughter's hair and how well you take care of it. And if I were to ever, honestly, for real though, if I can get over this fear that I have, and now I am. Okay, there's a little self-hate. I'm just gonna be honest, and I'm working
Oh
through.
no.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm for the most part possibly too transparent.
Mhm.
But when it comes to my hair, because I as we talked about earlier, to the point where I've tried to do everything on my own. Some things have been
Mhm.
healthy, some things have not been healthy. Some things, and I've learned from because if I repeat a thing, that's crazy. So like I learned from my mistakes, I'm like, okay, never
Hmm.
do that again. Like for me, um, in my youth, I loved color, but I also loved relaxers too.
Okay.
And with my kind of hair, as I figured out, because my sister could do something different, but I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? It was just like, girl, my hair was like hating on me, like, what you doing? I'm breaking off now because you just messed me up. I'm walking out.
Right.
But
So doing
seriously,
doing relaxer and color together can be achieved. However, it takes a lot of knowledge behind that. So
hmm
I wouldn't suggest just someone, relaxing and coloring their hair if
yeah,
they haven't had some type of, training behind that.
go to a
Because
professional.
it can definitely, break your hair off. It can be very
hmm
traumatizing.
hmm
Um, Unless
Nisha,
bald is the look that you're going for, you know?
listen, yeah, I was traumatizing my own self. Forget the beautician. But and then I was like you were telling me about how you're stuck on red. Red is your color, and
Yes,
actually it does look beautiful
yes.
on you.
Thank you, thank you.
Tell the people because they didn't hear it because of my lack of um technical abilities. How did the red become your thing?
Back to when I was in the salon with my aunt, right? So she relaxed my hair. And, back then, like they would just leave the relaxer on. It's like, it needs time to process. So she just left the relaxer on, right? And so it was burning and I'm crying and because I'm like 13 and I'm telling her, it's burning, it's burning. And she's like, oh, it's gonna be okay. Cause she has other clients that she's doing. I mean, I'm free hair.
Oh my goodness.
So, um, so as a kind of like reward for my pain and suffering, she put this she put this jazzing. I don't know if y'all remember the brand jazzing. It came like in a hot pink bottle, but it was cherry cola. She put that in my hair, but it was like it's like a semi-permanent rinse kind of.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So it's not like it really changed the color of my hair, but you could see, the hint of red in the sun. And
Uh-huh.
from there it was like, okay, red is my color. I like this.
Oh my goodness.
I like it.
So I have a funny story back in my early 20s. I wanted like I was still figuring out what color I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted some kind of color because I
Hmm.
was an
Hmm.
adult now and I could do my own hair,
Okay.
all the things. And so I went for it was like a coppery. I really wanted Janet Jackson red hair, but it didn't work out like that. Because
Mm.
back then she was rocking kind of a she did no, it was a coppery. She did a coppery and then later she did a red. But it
Hmm.
was kind of a red hair thing. But that was when I tried to also have a perm and I'm not a stylist. So what ended up happening, what had happened was so that didn't work out. So I ended up I ended up with the color, but I had to have now cut my hair even shorter. So now I had to be a chocolatey Halle Berry with the copper color hair,
Mm.
if you can imagine. Yeah. I I learned
That
some hard
sounds
lessons.
traumatic. It sounds traumatic.
Yeah.
A lot of times we learn
Yeah, we
by
learned.
experience.
hmm And then, I left all the stuff alone for a while, and especially
Hmm.
during this time I lived overseas, there was nobody really to go to, around there
Hmm.
for real.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I was forced to like keep healthy hair, and it came back so pretty and healthy, and some of the color stayed. It just kind of grew out, but my hair
Yeah.
was so nice and thick, and that was the healthiest that it's been in a long time, and I haven't really had it like that since. You know what I mean? Like, and now that I'm older, things have changed. So my hair doesn't grow as thick as it used to be anyway.
Right.
So although
Right.
now the healthy part is coming back, I can't quite, and maybe it's because I'm also impatient, get it. the length that I used to have. You know what I mean? I have a decent length, but it's not like it's not full. And I don't know if it ever will be anymore because, you know,
So as we get older, hint, as we get older, things start happening to our hair.
mm,
Whether it's thinning, it may not grow as quickly as it used to,
hmm,
because our bodies are changing.
yeah.
Maybe on medications now, so many different factors that play into, the growth of our hair or
Hmm.
nails, and then the way that your skin looks, because they all kind of go hand in hand, hair, skin, and nails.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
just depends. There's a lot of factors that could be why that's happening to you. But after 20 years, I'm still doing consultations. So, we can
I'm
have a
gonna have
talk.
to treat myself. I need to treat myself and my daughter too.
Yeah, we
You've
can
been on my
definitely open for a discussion. Let's talk about it.
yeah. I will tell you like when I discovered you were in business
Mm-hmm.
because at church we had like a business owners
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thing. I don't know what it was. And I was walking through, and that's when you told me what your profession was. But you also told me that you had a podcast. Also, we're gonna get back to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And and I was like, oh, right. And and I'm gonna say this because I know there are other people like me. And since I am kind of transparent, what the heck? What's the worst that can happen, right?
Absolutely.
I am ashamed of the state of hair.
Mm.
And
Right
so,
now?
well, no, but then I was. I
Okay.
feel like now I'm kind of okay. But
Okay.
so because, and I don't know if it has to do with my Virgoisms, things have to be in a certain place at a certain way before if I were to have a house cleaner come over and I want that to happen during the holidays, I would first do a clean sweep of my house because
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want that. That's so just to give you an idea of my logic. So I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't go to the hairstylist with my hair complete wreck. Isn't that crazy?
Yes,
I
because
know.
that's kind of what the cleaner is there for, like to clean. That's what the hairstylist is there for, to fix it. So,
Yeah, I know. I
so,
know
so in
logically.
your mind, you're gonna work on fixing your hair first, and then go to the hairstylist. Okay, Carissa.
Woo! What I'm gonna do is at least grow like my sides back. Okay, I'm at least get so she not so when I get in
But
there
they can help you, like for the
and
things that you
they
don't
come
know. Like
back.
they may be able to give you, some tips and tricks on how
How
to
to
regrow that. Hmm.
Well, you know what? Okay, so I will tell you something that I do, and I wish I had a bottle of it, but I am, I mentioned something about mama and them and old school. I
Uh-huh.
so my in my family, the ladies they all have really nice, healthy hair,
Hmm.
and like looking at my aunts, and so that's and I've also just embraced letting my silver just silver out
Hmm.
because when I look at my aunts and they're white and it's
Ooh.
just beautiful and it's
Mhm.
nice and healthy and long and I'm like we just gonna let it go. But one of the things that I have done is and I did it for me for just me for a while and
Mhm.
then I gave a bottle to my sister and then I gave a bottle to a few of my friends and then I was like I would sell it, but I haven't made it in a minute. It's just
Okay.
some hair oils. It had tea tree in there,
Hmm.
rosemary in
Yeah.
there. It had mint. Ooh, the feeling. Ooh, the feeling. In there, it had aloe oil in there,
Ooh.
and some jojoba oil in
Hmm.
there. And I would drop it on my scalp after I washed my hair. It was the best because the pores are open.
Yep.
And I would drop it and massage it in there, and it feels so good. But I also was actually seeing a difference, and that's just like mom and them kind of things, like that kind of you hear from what
Yep.
grandmas do, and they get passed down. And so that's what I mean, like kind of get it back to a let me go back to my basics.
Absolutely.
Let me wash my
Absolutely.
hair, let me condition my hair, and then I'll go to the beautician. So, see, you're sweet. You're not gonna But I'm sure there were some beauticians. If I were to go back then, they would they would go back, um, and talk to their hair washer girl and be like,
Hmm.
listen,
Hmm.
her hair is trifling. I don't know what she was thinking. What was she doing? Like, oh my God, what the heck? See, and probably that wasn't going to be the case, but that's how my mind thinks. Now with
Right.
you, I feel safe. I feel
I
like
was
I
gonna
could.
say they probably wouldn't. We see so much as hairstylists. Like you got to think about you're only seeing your hair, and so you think that it's the worst. We've
Yeah.
seen so many, and like we've seen some worst case scenarios, and yours isn't typically it. You're kind of like on the lighter side. Like it's not that bad. It's okay. But to
Yeah.
you, it's like, this is travesty and detrimental, and you know, it's never gonna come back. Oh my God. But it's not that bad.
Well, and then if you had decent hair and then you look at pictures, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
mm, I ruined
But
myself.
remember, we're gonna go back to as we age.
True.
As we age.
We're aging.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Age is good. I think.
Because I keep, listen, these little gray hairs over here, it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them. And I'm just like, okay, I look younger than what I am, but these
The
grays, they
grays.
tell a different story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nisha, don't be offended, but you do have a baby face.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
beautiful. You
Thank
like it's so, and then your skin is so like, I'm all about skin. Like it's so. What do you do? I mean, like seriously, so people can know.
I drink my water and I mind my business.
That's what
That is what
everybody
I
needs to
do.
do.
I
And
drink my water and I mind my business.
there you go. That's
Mhm,
what everybody ought to do.
mhm. Absolutely.
That's what everybody ought to
Absolutely.
do. And because by not minding your business, then you get these extra lines on your face. Why?
You taking on other people's stress. You're
Yes.
dealing with and it's fine because even as a stylist, like I don't take on their stress, but like
Mm-hmm.
I listen to what they say. I offer advice if that's what they want. But by the end of the day, like I'm not taking your drama home with me.
Mm-hmm. Don't do
Like
it.
I'm not up at night like, oh my God, Charissa said that her edges won't grow. So I gotta be up all night and figure out how to make this work. No.
Good.
Or her baby daddy. Yeah, no, I'm not doing no. That's
Yeah.
when you leave, so does your drama. But
And
I'm here
that's a
to
life,
talk
good
to you
life
about
lesson.
it because a lot of times people need to vent and they want
Mm-hmm.
to be heard and they
Mm-hmm.
want, to feel like someone is paying attention or that they care. And I
Mm-hmm.
do, but it's just I can't take that on for me.
You shouldn't. And because I can't even imagine that would require a lot.
Hmm.
You ain't God. They better go talk to the
No,
Lord.
I'll pray with you. I'll pray for you.
Right.
And I don't listen. My clients will tell you by the end of the service, it's like, okay, you want me to pray with you? We'll pray before you leave, like if that's what you want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
But
love
yeah,
it.
I
I
can't
love
take
it.
on your drama too.
I love it. Well, let me tell you, I'm so glad we finally did this. But before we get off podcast subject,
Hmm. Hmm.
I know that's something that you have done in the past. And just as a sister friend from church, what can I do to encourage you to get back to
Ooh,
that?
um, I don't even know really at this
You
time.
can think
And
about
it's
it.
not that I don't want to do it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that. It's just circumstances and situation right now at this moment, like the season that I'm
Mm-hmm.
in,
Mm-hmm.
like I have other things that I'm
I feel
having to
you.
deal with.
Uh, and that's
So
fair. Yeah.
it's just it's not even that it's a lot to commit to, but as with doing your podcast, like you have to
Mm-hmm.
make the time, you
Mm-hmm.
have to, find the guests to interview.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot that I can't take on right now at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
saying that To the Root podcast will not come back, but it's I need some time right now.
Absolutely. I And
especially with
yeah.
where God was calling me to with it, because it started out as a podcast, giving tips and tricks to women, for hair, whether it was dealing with things like hair loss, or we did an episode on postpartum alopecia. We had an episode on, finances and how to deal with your finances as a
Mhm.
stylist, and taxes and things like that, and just different, and how heart health can affect your hair. So again, as we age, it's just different things that we deal with that affects our hair. And then after about 6 episodes, God started telling me, hey, I need you to switch this to the Root podcast from the basis of hair to trauma. So, like helping people, to deal with their traumas, because there's a lot of people that deal with a lot of things, and you don't know people that have overcome. I get people that ask me a lot of times, just because of stuff that I've dealt with in my own personal life,
Mhm.
like, oh my God, you're a business owner, like you're doing this, like you look amazing. Like, how did you get through this? And so I feel like that's where God is pushing me to, interview people that have dealt with things in their lives that
Mhm.
they've overcome, or
Mhm.
that they have, by the grace of God, been able to make it through. So it's a lot. It's really heavy, and
Mhm.
it's not something that I can take on right at this moment.
You and
So,
this, don't play with it because it
mhm,
absolutely is a calling. It abs
mhm,
and um I was doing a podcast. I've been doing it for years before, but I absolutely had to sit out. I absolutely
mhm,
had to stop
mhm,
because I felt convicted. I was like, wait a minute. I the message is this is like I was
mhm,
being dealt with like, okay, we're gonna have to scale back and you're gonna have to listen to directions.
mhm.
And once you listen to directions, trust and believe me, then everything else will fall into place. And
Yep,
so that's exactly, I feel you on that. Like you and only you and God know like when it's going to be time.
yep.
And because I refuse to be rushed back into it, you know what I mean,
Right,
myself. I
right.
was like, they were like, "Where you been?" I'm like, "Nowhere, just where you been?" Like because it's personal for me. And I think, and I told someone, one of my guests not too long ago, that uh I realized it was not for me necessarily, only
Mhm,
just for me
mhm.
anymore. You know what I mean? And I realized I had to be thoughtful, careful, and very um my words and whatever I was presenting had to be very intentional.
Right,
My guests had to be very intentional.
right.
Everything had to be very intentional because it wasn't just about, because the old podcast was called something about mom maternal musings of Carissa Marie. 'Cause there's a lot of funny stories about being a mom, but
Mhm,
the bigger story is the women and their stories. The bigger story was
mhm.
what I don't maybe look like what I've been through. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Nisha
Mhm.
doesn't look like what she's been through. That's
Mm-mm.
the bigger story. You know what
Mhm,
I mean?
mhm.
And in the middle of those stories, we can still have fun. We can talk. We can be encouraging, and bring in ears that probably would only have come in here because they were a little curious, but now they can relate to our stories.
Right. And
And
just to
so,
give a snippet of kind of what happened, but it's gonna, when it comes back, this is gonna be my intro. So I'm gonna give you guys just a snippet to keep you engaged. So in the process of me um making that transition from hair to the traumatic experiences, or helping to free people or get to the root of whatever their issue was, the month that I was getting ready to record, I had set the date with the gentleman who I was to interview, and The 1 week my house flooded. My entire downstairs flooded. The one day they were telling me, "Oh, it flooded, there's water damage throughout the entire downstairs." The next day they gutted my entire downstairs.
Mm.
Um, and it just all happened so fast. I was like, whoa, wait, like you didn't have time to think. Like they were telling me, you know, figure out what you may need in this downstairs area for the next 7 to 8 months. Because once
Oh
we put
my
the stuff
goodness.
in storage, we're unable to take it back out. And I'm like, wait, so in 10 hours, 5 hours, you want me to think of what I may need over the next 8 months to a year because that's how long it's going to take to repair this?
Whew.
It was, I'm like, oh my God, my brain can't even think this fast. Like, wait, what?
Mm.
Then the gentleman that I was supposed to interview that next week, he got into a very traumatic car accident. He was in ICU. He currently has a traumatic brain injury. Like he has recovered well, but he hasn't fully recovered. But to see
Mm.
him now, like you would think, like you would have never known that this happened to him a year ago.
Wow.
And so it's been everybody, just kind of healing and
Mm-hmm.
getting back
Mm-hmm.
into, but by the grace of God, he is still here.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, thank God.
my home was not fixed. We had to move.
Mm.
It's woo, it's been a lot.
Mm. You
Mm.
are such a light, and you carry this.
It's been a lot.
You. God bless you, because even through all the stuff you are going through, you be holding up women. I Nisha, you are my facilitator for Master Life.
Hmm.
And you do it with such grace, and you're so humble, and you're so patient, and you're carrying all this. And I
Because what I remember and what I maintain is that my faith that God is gonna do what he said he was gonna do. The
yeah.
week before my house flooded, um, I was doing Bible Readers Club at the church, and we had gotten to the point of reading Job. And I had gotten behind on my reading, but the Lord kept telling me, read the book of Job, read the book of Job. I've heard on, the book of Job how, Job lost everything and
Mm-hmm.
he was able to get it all back. However, I'd never read the entire book for myself. So once I read it all, and then once I read it, and then like I literally lost everything. I was like, Lord, if I had not read this book, like I couldn't have this faith that you were going to bring me out. So when you asked about me still encouraging people, it's because you have to have faith. It's not easy. Sometimes I get discouraged and I'm like, Lord, when am I going to get my house? When, but I have to remain faithful that he said, if that's what he said he's going to do, that's what he's going to do.
And you literally are having like the faith of Job. I mean,
Child, I'm trying to.
you
Every I try every day. You were
I
not supposed to have me on here crying.
I'm
This is not
sorry.
part of
I
the details. But yes.
I well, first of all, I love people. I'm just a people lover, but your vulnerability, you know what I mean, your love for people is motivating. And I am not about to cry on my podcast, child. No, what we doing is fighting them. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Ooh, I'm gonna breathe. Nisha, you are so awesome. And I already knew, but I didn't know how awesome. Nisha, you are so awesome. And I hate that I am divided by this screen and by whatever miles we are, because like I want to jump through the screen and give you the biggest hug
Thank you. You're so sweet.
because you are so sweet. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a circular thing. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see you. You're gonna be so sick of me. And I'm gonna get it out of my system. But I just have to say thank you for having that faith like that, because I need to see how it's done like that. I need to see how it's done like
Woo!
that. Child. On that note,
Let me say again, it is not easy. It's not easy. But
wow.
when I tell you the faith of a mustard seed is about that big, that's all you need.
Wow.
That is all you need.
Well, I'm watching you, and I'm taking notes right now. And Zoom is getting ready to kick us off. And but I am so glad that we had this conversation, and this is how it was supposed to go,
Mhm.
because last week was different. And
Last week, I told you, I said, the enemy is trying to stop this podcast from going forth because it's going to touch a lot of women. It's going to
yeah,
touch a lot of people, period. Y'all,
yeah,
last week was crazy. This is probably like our third or fourth time getting on because
yeah.
the thing, the bloopers, you need a whole reel of the bloopers by itself. It was foolish.
I'm so embarrassed. It's like it's my shame. I'm gonna still do it because it is funny. I like to
It was
laugh.
foolish. But I
But
prayed this morning before we got on. Before I clicked the link. Remember you texted me and was like, well,
yeah,
I sent you the link. I said, okay, I'm clicking it. I prayed and I was like, Lord, just let this be what you would have it to be for your people. Like,
hmm,
forget last week.
thank you for your prayer.
Like, I was like, we don't even need to know that that happened. But God
Thank
had
you.
to do what he needed it to do.
Thank you so much. I love you. You are just I just want
I
to
love you,
you
Carissa.
are
You're so
so
sweet.
wonderful, and I'm so glad that I'm gonna get to know you. And this is just the beginning. I'm just so glad that I'm gonna get to know you. So I'm gonna end it so we don't get kicked off the
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
But thank you so much. You stay put as we end the show. But everybody, tune in. Remember to like, share, subscribe. But if you want a reminder, hit the bell, because then you'll know I'm coming. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Until next time, bye.